Welcome, welcome as people are joining in. Great to see you all. And like I said, we'll begin on the hour, so just in a moment. If you would, drop in the chat. Let me know where you are tuning in from today. It's always nice to see where people are in the world. Columbia, Missouri. Welcome, welcome. Hello from Chicago, Illinois. It's my hometown. Sweet home, Chicago. Boston, Mass. Welcome, welcome to you all. Carlisle, Massachusetts. Got the whole East represented today. All right, well, it is 2 o'clock my time. Oh, Norway, Europe. What's up? We have the international crew in the house today. I love that. Okay, so as I mentioned, it is 2 p.m. my time, Pacific time zone. So let's get rocking. And as people continue to join us, it's all good. So welcome to everyone who is just jumping in now. My name is Mindy Kniss. For those of you I haven't had the opportunity to meet yet, I will look forward to whenever that happens, that we can connect at some point, whether it's through one of my programs or at some event or something. So what we are here to talk about today is my experience of really, really struggling in my business, what I did to turn it around, and then also how you can do that too. This whole thing is going to be essentially 30-ish minutes or less. I like to keep these things pretty efficient and quick so you can get back to the rest of your day. So I'm going to start out with a little bit of my story. I'm going to tell you then what I did to shift things for myself. I am going to have a special offer for you at the end. You guys know how these things work. But essentially, if you like that stuff and you are into it and you want further help in what we talk about, awesome. And if not, it's all good too. Either way, it's cool. I am delighted that you are here because really you can take some of the information that I'm going to give you for free and just implement it yourself. So that's as like hardcore as we're going to get here about the offer that I will make at the end. I'll also have some time for Q&A. So if you have specific questions about your situation, your business, whatever else you want to talk about, we will do that at the end. And like I said, this will all be in about 30-ish minutes. So let's dive into it real quickly, because I know you don't really care about my story. I just kind of want to give you the background of like the struggle that I know, and it is so real. So for those of you that are struggling, I get it. I have been there. I feel your pain. So how it worked out for me was after college, I had gone into corporate America, had a pretty great job right away, and everything was cool, right? Like good pay, good people, decent job, great benefits, all the things. Except I wasn't really satisfied with that. I didn't feel like it was my sole purpose to be doing the paperwork in a cubicle that I was being paid to do. So fast forward, that was in 2000. When did I graduate college? 2000. Okay, so 22 years ago. And then from there, from that corporate job, I went to Kenya to work as a fellow in Nairobi. And having had that opportunity to live over on the other side of the world for a while really gave me the opportunity to step back from my regular day-to-day routines and question myself and say, is this really what you want to be doing with your life? Well, the answer was a resounding no. It was very obvious. It was very clear. And so I was like, all right, well, I need a plan. So my plan was, okay, I'm going to give myself a year from when I get back to the United States. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to become a coach. I'm also going to go back to grad school at the same time for writing, and I will just figure all of that out in 1 year. Well, for those of you that have been in this world for a while, you know that it probably takes a little bit longer than a year, but I was like all hopped up on the law of attraction back then. You probably remember The Secret was really hot at that time. This was like 2007, 2008. So I was like, I'm just going to manifest this. Like, I'm going to be a millionaire by next year. This is going to be awesome, right? Not exactly. So I did end up coming back to the US. This would have been in 2007. I decided to leave that corporate job. The universe, and this part is a little bit woo-woo or oddly synchronistic, but the universe kind of worked it out so that even though I had said I'm going to give myself a year to kind of ramp up this business and ramp down my current career, as it turned out, I got laid off So they said, okay, we're going to close this site. And I'm like, that's actually kind of awesome because I was going to be leaving anyway. Oh, and by the way, you have about a year to decommission the site, transfer your projects, etc. And I was like, ooh, okay. So hello, thank you, universe. That was, like I said, the woo part of it, and just interesting synchronicity. So after that year, this was now 2008, I decide in my manifestation hungry brilliance at that time to leave everything that I had in Michigan and move across the country to Portland, Oregon. So I'm like, I'm going to restart everything. I have this new career. I'm just going to be this badass coach. This is going to be awesome, right? Of course, again, it didn't exactly work out as I had intended. So if those of you recall from 2007, 2008, that was the housing crisis. A lot of economic trouble was going on in our country and really around the world. And maybe not the best time to begin a business. I don't know. I mean, that's what I did, but it definitely didn't work out so well. So within 2 years, I had gone from having plenty of money because I had a severance from my corporate job, I had some savings, I had an IRA, and I had credit cards. So I was like, I'm good. Yeah, I went through all of that really fast, and I was not making enough money to even be able to do normal things like eat. At the end, I ended up being evicted from my apartment. My home that I still owned in Michigan was foreclosed. I moved into a tiny, tiny one room office that I rented and somehow was able to manage still paying that rent. Didn't really have money to eat. So I was essentially living off of the Jack in the Box dollar menu. So for those of you that are in other countries, that is a fast food restaurant. Nothing nutritious about it. It was not a good time. And then within 2 years of starting this business, I filed for bankruptcy. So really, really quickly, it was hit after hit after hit to not just my bank account, but also to my ego. Because I was like, wait, I should be able to figure this out, right? Like if I'm the one who's running this business, I'm the entrepreneur, who else is there to figure it out? It's just me. And obviously, I clearly, really desperately screwed it up. So that part of my life, that story, that financial past is not my favorite thing. It was not a great time to go through. It was probably I had depression. I mean, it was not pleasant. But again, for those of you that have either experienced that, I mean, I know a lot of people had situations similarly in the housing crisis back then, or even just starting a business. So many entrepreneurs go through this really terrible struggle. For me, it wasn't just the lack of knowledge that I had around marketing and sales, it was also really a question of my own worth. I didn't fully understand what I was offering or what that value could be. So, to fast forward through all that crappy part, because I definitely don't want to stay in that part too much, it took me 7 years to figure out a new way to do things. And to me now, if I look back, I'm like, that actually was a long time. So my thing is, I don't think it should, or it doesn't necessarily need to take other people 7 years if they're doing some of these certain things. So what I finally did was, over time, I had run this retreat called Heart Path. And that was probably the best thing that I offered. People had such an amazing time. They kept coming back year after year after year. And the whole point at Heart Path was to say, okay, you all are here. You've all had these various experiences in your life. You all come with different expertise. What do you want to do with it? Like, what is the most fulfilling thing and purposeful thing that you could do, pulling from the things you like, the things you are good at, the things that you can make money with? What can you do going forward? So, what I found year after year after year is that people would come to the Heart Path, and then by the end, they would say something like this. They'd be like, you know what, Mindy, I think that I would like to be a coach like you. They were looking at what I was doing, running events, coaching clients, and they were like, that sounds kind of awesome. I think I would like that. Where should I begin? Where should I start? What should I do? And I never really had a great place to recommend to them because I myself, I didn't go through coach training. I didn't go to coaching school. I didn't have any sort of formal education. Now, I used my background in my degrees in spirituality and creativity and philosophy, all that stuff. That's what I based my coaching on, and then obviously developed over the last decade and a half in my coaching. Plus, I had corporate experience and leadership, all that stuff. But needless to say, I didn't have a good place to send them. So I was like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I just kind of started myself. Well, clearly that's not that helpful. So after so many years of hearing this same sort of question at HeartPath, I was like, all right, why don't I just create a little thing to say, hey, like this is what I did, or here's some of the lessons that I learned so you cannot do those same things, learn from my mistakes and you can maybe do it a better, faster, more efficient way. So in 2014, so 7 years after I started this whole business, I first offered Core Coaching Academy. And it was just this tiny little pilot program. If I look back now at the videos that I had from that course, I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, the audio quality sucked. It was so far from perfect. Like, it's not even that good, quite honestly. But people came, it ended up selling out. And then what I was able to do with that is one, rinse and repeat that process. I was like, oh, okay, so you guys came through this program first. Maybe other people might be interested in this as well. Let me offer it again. And so that was then another source of revenue where I didn't really have to redo the whole thing because it was already done. And then I was like, oh, you people who just came through the course, you want to continue on and do more stuff and keep growing together? Okay, well, I'll make up the next thing. And this is the game. This is the name of the game. You make it up as you go. So there was Core Coaching Academy, and then there was what I called Encore, which was like the next level higher up. So I charged those people some more money. And then it was just this cycle. So I would run that whole thing twice a year. When I would do HeartPath, I would sell Core Coaching Academy at HeartPath. And then from there, the people who took Core would potentially, some of them would take Encore, and then the whole thing would repeat. And I kept those people involved that were the students of the first and second and third rounds, because once they had gone through the class, I would end up hiring those who were interested to be mentors, what I called core mentors, to the next class of people. So then what I was able to do is have different levels of the whole thing. So I would have the basic level, which is just the video and group coaching with it. Next level up, so more income, would be that, all the video stuff, plus having a core mentor, which was one of my former students, who I was paying for their coaching time. So they were excited because they're like, yay, this is my first paid client essentially. So that worked out for everybody. It was like a win-win-win. And then the highest level of that program was, the basic, the group coaching, everything at the first level. And then instead of having a core mentor, they would work directly with me. So that was an even higher price. So then offering that twice a year for years on end, that was the first year in 2014 that I was able to hit $100,000. And I don't know what the fancy special thing is about $100,000, but for whatever reason, it seems like for many of us who start businesses, that's kind of like the first big goal. Like the first time you make $1,000, that's exciting. And the first time you make 10,000, like that's also exciting. But then you're like, oh, like that six figure, because really like you can live a pretty decent lifestyle depending on what you like and what you want to do for that amount of money. So then I was like, okay, this is awesome. So I kept doing that just year after year after year. And then many of you know my husband was Sean Stevenson. So he and I then partnered in business and we did all kinds of other stuff, lots of other events, et cetera, et cetera. And finally, it occurred to me, this was just last year, literally in 2020. No, I'm sorry, 2021. Where are we? 2022. Okay, so in 2021, I was like, if my story is such that I was able to figure something out, and granted, it took me a minute to figure it out, 7 whole years of struggle, like being on the struggle bus. But if I was able to figure this thing out, and then that made such a big difference, hello, Knis, don't you think that other people might be interested in how to do it or to get your help in like how you did it so they can do it also? So last year, I was like, okay, I'm going to try a new course. I'm going to create a course essentially about how to create a course. So it's very meta because it's a course about making a course. But what we did was this little pilot program. Again, last year, I said I'm going to take 10 students max because I wanted it to be workshop style. I didn't want it to be, just videos that nobody's ever going to consume anyway. Once they buy the thing, I actually wanted to say, like, I am hoping for your results and I want to, be on your team or in your corner for your results. So I'm going to be right there with you for a whole month. And we're going to essentially do a lot of this together. So we talk about everything from what is your topic? And there are some who get kind of stuck in the imposter syndrome or what could I possibly teach or what, who would want to buy from me anyway. I promise you that there are things, many things, I'm guessing, in your life that you have gone through, experienced, developed a skill or a talent in, all kinds of things that someone else out there would probably want to know. Maybe you went through a divorce and it was actually very amicable, and you're like, hey, I can teach you how to make this less of a crappy process. Maybe you had an amazing experience with weight loss or some health challenge that you had in the past, and then you were able to overcome it by doing your own research or having to figure it out on your own. And then you're able to then share with other people. Now, maybe those are some extreme examples, but maybe you just figured out something like how to use YouTube to get more clients or something. I don't know. There's so many different things. And I promise you that if you're on this class with me right now, you've got something. And here's the way to look at it. A lot of students that come through this, they're like, well, but so and so is so much better at this, or so and so is well known for this. Who cares? Those people are not looking to offer the content that you would be able to offer to the level of people that you would be looking to serve. In other words, that let's say you're like a senior in high school. Now, of course, there are people who are in college, at university, and there are professors at university. So there's maybe always higher levels or like more skilled people at whatever your topic is. But if you're a senior in high school, you definitely have some information and education that you could share with the freshmen. So the people that would be your best students or your best customers in this case would be like freshmen in whatever that topic is. So you don't have to feel like you are the, greatest expert in the world. I always laughed when some of my clients, they would be like, oh, like if we could just spend the day with Richard Branson. And I'm like, yeah, like I've met Richard. He's cool. Like it'd be a fun time, but he's not going to be able to help you with your WordPress site, or he's not going to know how to run a Facebook ad, or he's not going to know how to get a client. Like he doesn't do that stuff. So yeah, nothing, negative about him. He's a cool dude, but like, is that really going to be beneficial? No, the most benefit to you is going to be somebody who is a few steps ahead of you in doing the thing that you want to do. Or in this case, you would be the person who is a few steps ahead of those people out there who are looking for help with the thing that you can help them with. And to me, that's where this really, really all comes back to. This is, I'm going to share with you guys like my very simple business plan. This is it. It's so simple. Figure out something for myself, like try it, screw it up, make all the mistakes, and then turn around and help other people avoid some of those mistakes. I have done that in business. So as I just told you, I had a crazy start to my whole entrepreneurial venture. And then I have essentially become more of a business coach than a life coach, which I was doing at the beginning. And really just saying like, here's how not to screw it up, right? I did the same thing more recently in trading. Just in 2020, I became a trader, trading stocks and then futures, screwed up a lot of stuff in that. And now I teach on that to be like, okay, here are some of the big mistakes or the big potholes that I fell headlong into. Here's how to avoid that. So you can literally just take anything that you have an interest in, something that you have figured out, and then A, like tell them what has worked, and B, tell them what hasn't worked. That can be a whole business. And I've done it twice. So I promise you that it works. So I wanted to show you a little bit about this class. It's called Lucrative Courses that is coming up. I am going to pull it up on my screen just to give you a little quick walkthrough of this. And like I said, for those of you that, are like, oh my God, like, she's selling us something. Here's my philosophy on sales. This is, this is as simple as it gets. I think if you're into it, you should go for it. And if you're not, don't. Like that's legit my whole sales pitch, because I know that people who are swimming toward me are going to be the best customers, and they're going to have the best potential results. People who are maybe not yet ready to take action, or they're kind of on the fence, or they're wishy-washy, or I don't have time, or whatever other reasons, and they're all valid reasons, it's cool. They're probably not going to be my best clients or best students. So I'm like, hey, I'm going to focus on the people swimming toward me. If that's you, let's rock. So here is what is happening, and let me just show you this. There we go. I'm going to stop my video just for a sec, and then I'll be back on with you for the Q&A. Okay, so lucrative courses. Create your online course for fun and profit, because you guys, this can actually be a pretty good time. We had a riot last year in this course, and I'll show you a picture of it down below. So here are 3 of the reasons why you might want to consider not even necessarily taking my class, but just in general offering courses. Use your limited time more efficiently by reaching one-to-many instead of one-to-one. This was a huge shift for me in my coaching philosophy, because what happened is I would end up saying essentially the same thing to almost every client. And while I still love the one-on-one experience, I still do have one-on-one clients, it did get a little bit repetitive when I was saying the same thing. So I'm like, why don't I just get all you people together, and I'll take 1 hour of my time instead of 5, and we'll just say it once. And then there's the beauty of their interaction and conversation and all the other good stuff that happens in groups. Secondly, you get your important message out to the world in a bigger way and help more people. Again, like, this is what it comes down to for me. It's like, we are not here to just, I don't know, play small and be afraid and like be indecisive for our whole lives. We need to actually utilize the gifts that we have been given in service of others. That's how I think, or that's what I think we are here to do. And third, multiply your impact and add a stream of income to make exponentially more money. Why? Because there'll be more people per 1 hour of your time. So this, as I mentioned, it's workshop style. So it's not just videos. And I only do take 10 people. 3 of them have already signed up for this current May cohort. So there's only 7 spots. That's not like a marketing, fake out scarcity thing. It's like legit. Once that is filled, it will close. So here are some of the things that we're going to do. You will learn how to pick your course topic and structure your content. We'll talk about the exact technology that I use to build and deliver my online courses, because I don't know about some of you, but that was a huge stumbling block for me in the beginning. Why? Because I didn't know any of this stuff. Like, I didn't know how to build websites. I didn't know anything about HTML. I didn't know how to run an email list. I didn't know any of this because I had come from corporate America. We didn't need to have all that information. So I myself have had to learn all of it. And now I do all my own everything. But I know how challenging, and even more importantly, how frustrating it can be to be like, well, which technology should I use? How do I even use it? All that stuff. We'll go through it all. I'll also share my exact launch sequence that I used to generate $30,000 in 7 days. So it can be potentially very profitable very quickly. Now, you may have different results. I want to be clear about that, because you may have different list size than I have. You might have different connections than I have, or whatever, so it could be different, but I am going to share with you what worked for me so that you can take it and make it your own. We'll also talk about the mindset aspect. In other words, how to get over the limiting belief, or that I don't have enough experience, knowledge, expertise to teach a course, because as I say there, that's a bunch of crap. So we'll go through all of that. It is 4 different workshop sessions. This essentially, you can watch this on your own if you'd like later, but this is my dear friend and client, Bettina Gordon. And she was astounded that I told them to sell the class before you've even created it. Why? Because who wants to spend a bunch of time doing something that nobody else is interested in? Like, if nobody else is going to buy it in the long run, it's like, why waste your time, money, and energy? I think in one of the emails that I sent out this week, I was talking about someone that I know who has spent upwards of $10,000 getting his course ready to go out. Now, he has not sold a single course. And I'm like, what are you doing? Do not, like, you're totally doing it in the wrong order. Anyway, Bettina had a great experience with that. I should find this thing, but she left me this audio message when she made her first sale. And she was like, Mindy, I just made the first sale. I haven't even recorded a video yet. And she said, this is not an insignificant amount of money to me. And I was like, well, good. That's how it should be. That's the plan. So you can watch her words there. And this is just a little bit of my story. I just told it to you, so we don't need to go over that. These are just a couple different quotes from the, oh wait, we're missing one. Let me refresh this and see if it's here. Yay. Okay, so this is Catherine. She was in the last cohort, and I'm not entirely sure what she means by this, but she says learning from Mindy is like the combination of a wise, seasoned mentor and a family member who teaches with genuine care. Now, she's maybe making me out to be nicer than I am. I don't know. Most people would say that I have tough love, so that's kind of my thing. But here's the thing that I really appreciated about her experience specifically. She was super intimidated when she came in about building a course. And then she found that it actually maybe wasn't that hard, and she was making it harder than it needed to be. And as she said, it's one of the best courses I have taken. And then down here, this Doug is like a star student. So let me just rave about Doug for a second. Both of these come from our private Telegram group. And he says, well, I did just sell out my second advanced class. 4 came in right before the pre-course deadline. And here's what's nuts about Doug's experience. He took everything that I shared with him and he just implemented. Like, he didn't make it harder than it needs to be. He just did the things and took the steps that I was giving them and like holding their hand through. And this, I don't know when this was, but he says the second advanced class, he has now gone on to sell out, and I mean sell out, like 4 or 5 different rounds of this program. So it is insane, his level of just rocking it. Some of you might have heard him on my podcast a while back because I wanted to interview him about his experience because it was so powerful. And I'm like, really, all it came down to was he just did the things. He didn't get freaked out about it. Well, actually, he kind of did, to be honest with you. He did freak out about it, but at least he had the group to come to and be like, hey, I'm freaking out. And then I could talk him down and be like, okay, we'll just take this next step. Here you go. And then Bettina is saying the same thing. She just sold her first course coaching combo and still have not recorded even one video yet for the course. So they had a great time with it. Here's how this, and this is a picture of some of them. They were just having a riot in the class because, like I said, we like to have a good time. It is going to be on 4 different Saturdays in the morning Pacific time and afternoon Eastern time. That would be early evening in Europe. What else can I tell you? Okay, you also get my lucrative course action plan and the outline, so you can literally like fill in the blanks and just make it your own. You also will have lifetime access to all the recordings. So let's say you can't make one of them. Now, if you are the type of person that's like, oh, well, I'm not going to plan to be at any of the live stuff because I hate live stuff and I'm just going to watch the video later, please don't sign up, because I want this to be workshop style where people are actually engaged and, participating. And because there's only 10 spots, that just please don't sign up. You also get, as a bonus, a 1-month complimentary membership to the Lucra Collective, which is my ongoing membership for early stage and aspiring entrepreneurs. Now, you can buy that separately. It's $297 per month, but you get a full month of that with your investment today for lucrative courses. And real quick, I just want to walk you through that. This is TLC. You could always go to lucra.com/TLC to sign up for it. It's all good. We talk a lot about business. We talk about mindset, especially money mindset, because holy cow, did I have scarcity as like one of my biggest detriments. So there is community, there's growth, money mindset. This, you don't need to know about any of that stuff. And here's the thing. See if this sounds familiar. You want to express your unique gifts through a profitable business. Well, like I said, it took me a long time to figure out how to do this stuff, but you don't have to take 7 years. I want you to be able to do it sooner and with less struggle, ideally. So how this works is we do monthly group coaching, and this month, particularly in May, happens to be our biannual retreat. So every 6 months we have a retreat. Now this one in May is going to be virtual. So it's a 4-hour experience on the 3rd Saturday of May. It's all online, so super easy. You don't have to go anywhere, but you essentially get free access to that with the program of lucrative courses. Or, like I said, you could just sign up for this other thing separately if you wanted to do that. But the retreat this year is going to be on making decisions and then deserving. Like you really, truly do deserve the absolute best in life. So I can't wait to dig into all of that. But above and beyond that, we have a private Facebook and Telegram group. I do weekly live Q&As. And here's why I bonus this thing onto lucrative courses, because I want a place and a space and a community to support you as you are in the lucrative courses program. Now, I don't want to run a whole separate community just for lucrative courses. So I just, wrap you into a big giant hug into the Lucra Collective. And then you have like weekly time with me for Q&A. You have these groups for group discussion, questions, whatever else it might be. And like I said, there are 2 retreats, one of them being this month in May. So that separately is $297. So let me just go back to this. And all you'd have to do is buy now, enter your information. This course begins on Saturday, which I'm so excited about because, like I said, I mean, look at these people. They were very excited. So let me turn this off. I'm going to come back onto the video with you and stop the share. Let me know in the chat if you have any questions either about the program, about my experience, about your own situation. I am happy to spend a few minutes more with you. And if not, it's all good too. Before people like start jumping off and flying away to the rest of their day, I do want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. Because like I said in the beginning, you can do this yourself. You don't need to take a course, but I do love helping with that. How long are the Saturday workshops? They are an hour. So just an hour, Saturday morning or whatever time zone that you are in. I try to keep things pretty efficient and quick. I don't spend, time going on and on and on and on. It's like, okay, here's the information you need. What questions do you have? What brainstorming do we need to do as a group all together? And then it's like, okay, break, go do it. It's much more about the implementation. You'll see if you do watch Bettina's video on that sales page, that's one of the things she talks about. She said, look, I've bought lots and lots of courses, but some of them I've never even started. I've never even opened the course or logged in once. And I don't know about you guys, but I've certainly done that too. I have a whole list of things that I've literally never even started or looked at. And she said the difference with lucrative courses is that it does have that live component. So I was giving them bits of content and essentially work to do, like giving them their marching orders, if you will. And then like if they didn't do it, then they're going to feel behind. And that's not to say like, oh my God, if you don't do it, like it's nothing negative. It's just like, okay, how can we catch you up to speed? But anyway, she was able to finally become a course creator and sell her course out because she had that consistency, the accountability, all of that stuff that comes with the live component. So it truly, truly is workshop style. Now, if you have to miss like one of the weeks because you had something scheduled, it's no problem at all. Because like I said, it is all recorded. But if you are the type of person that you're like, I'm not even going to the live stuff, I'll just log in later, this is not for you. just don't sign up. So if you have any other questions, you can always reach out to me directly. Just send an email. You can reply to any of the emails that come from the Lucra that will make its way to me eventually, or my team can help you out. It's all good. Either way, we would love to be of assistance in whatever you need. And once again, thank you for your time, for your attention. And my hope for you is that you take something, even if it's just one little nugget of something that I said, bring it in, make it your own, and then go do something with it. Because that's really, like I said earlier, why we're here. That's the point. So once again, have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday. I look forward to seeing you soon. I look forward to meeting some of you on Saturday, and I'll talk to you guys. Take care.